so you guys should have all gotten it. And I also forwarded it to Michael and to Michael's letter. So Michael's invitation to you tonight has this words that work in it. And I can pull it up, but I know Michael, you might too. So, but I do have it to pull up if we need to. Um, that what Robin told me today, and she's in a meeting right now. She's going to try to get to us if she can, and Connie's traveling, so she couldn't. But Robin said that these are new, that it's been updated. So it's not it looks like the old one, the words that work, because you can see the sign. But Gregory updated it, changed it. And so, definitely all of you want to print it. And this can help you in responding to people. The second thing that I pushed, David just spoke yesterday, I guess it was, he did his weekly, I guess it's Wednesday, so maybe 2 days ago. I loved the video. I was watching it live. It was incredible. So that is also in Michael's newsletter. So he's got that out there for you guys. Thank God that Jamie was able to download it from because I couldn't. I tried. It's not easy. So Jamie is, thank God, got you guys set up. So just look at your newsletter. And Michael, if you need me to show this thing, I can do it. But I know you have it now too. So what's your thought?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Let me see.
I put it into a text to you and Tracy Joe too,
Oh,
just
good.
now. So it was in our normal text that we do.
All right, yeah, I'll pull that up right now. Yep,
Okay.
this
Cool.
basically feels right into what I wanted to bring up some videos and talk about. So it's amazing
Perfect.
how we're all on the same sheet of music,
That's
and that's the
right.
power of positive mental attitude and focusing. So let me share the screen, and I'll bring that up. Share that sound. I always forget that, but I have it this time in Zoom.
Yes.
So here we are, words that work with the daily action plan. So let's make this big. Connect. Remember, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Heart to heart with people. Connect. Heart to heart with people. Cue their interest. Phrases that the book Exactly What to Say by Phil Jones. I'm not sure it's for you, but just imagine if. Uh,
Yeah.
what do you know about? How would you feel if? Just out of curiosity, most people. So these are all really good phrases to basically, capture people's interest. This is from Tom Big Al Schreider. Uh, I'm just curious. Well, you know how. This may or may not be for you. And when you tell me that, I'm like, well, what is it then? It's like, maybe it is. So that's a good one. There's an old saying, most people, and I think most people that use the X39 have great results. Uh, from my experience, everybody does that uses it for, a long period of time. What do you know about stem cells? Are you in any pain? I've recently learned about a historic breakthrough in affordable stem cell technology. And so that wouldn't work for me. It's like I've been researching this for almost 4 years, and I've had some experience with this. And so, wherever you're at with this, if you're brand new, yeah, that would work. But if you've been looking at this for a while, you might want to choose different verbiage. Are you open to a supplementary extra income? Who's not, right? I finally found something that helped me with. Just imagine if you felt years younger. Is there one thing about your health that you'd like to change? Now, you don't want to have these on a sheet of paper and you come up to somebody and you read it while you're talking. That would not work. So you want to get to the point where you're natural with these. You're not, talking about it and it just you can't remember what the words are and you stumble on them. Just become natural. If you need to practice with your pets, practice with people in your life that love you and will help you out. So that's pretty much what you want to do with these phrases. And another way to do it is do it on social media. Definitely do it on social media if you haven't been doing it, because that's definitely going to help you out. Point to a tool, popular tools, videos from the LifeWave Now app. Of course, I got them on my my sites. I have two different sites, so the michaelkjaco.com and then the LifeWave Michael Jaco. So if you want, you can point him to that. You have your own website you can point him to. That's ideally what you want to do. But there's lots of information out there that you can share and point people to stuff. Would it be okay if I sent you a 3-minute video about the patch technology? I'd like to invite you to check out a short video on liveliveyounger.com. And if you like what you see, I'd be happy to send you a free sample after you watch the video. That's we've got one guy that basically did that. He's like just send me an email and I'll send you a patch. And the guy's like, made a lot of money, big numbers, just by giving people one patch. And they just got excited. It's kind of like, well, what is it? So they get excited. They want to know about it. Something free, so that's where some people are. But just giving the patches away to everybody, I found does not work. Right. So what interested you most? What did you like best from follow-ups? And what questions do you have for me? So all the things that you want to do. I know you only listened to a short video, but I'm curious. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your level of interest? Are you ready to get started? What needs to happen for us to take the next step? What else do you need to know to make an informed decision? So, go through all these and find what you like, what works for you. If you're like if you're into sales, these things. If you've never done sales before, you need to get comfortable with this kind of stuff, and it's going to bring you outside of your box. So that's always good. Working outside of your box. Being more personable with people, learning to pique people's interest and so forth. I do this every day, so multiple times a day. Before enrolling someone, ask, are you going to be using the patches just for yourself, or do you plan on sharing them with others? That's a really good one. I like that. Then enroll as a preferred customer, click shop, or a brand partner, click join. If they are not ready to enroll and want more information, do you like a little information, a lot of information, or something in between? That's one of Robin's favorites. She does really good with that. My goal is to give you enough of the right information so that you can make an informed decision. Always good. Invite them to a presentation. Some options below would be another video via In Touch, Power of the Patch webinar, Monday morning miracle call, introduction to LifeWave and X39. Of course, we got the Monday night miracle and the Sunday night miracles. And so there's lots of different, entry points that people can watch and get curious. Of course, I got the videos of all those, so you could point them in the videos of the Miracle Mondays. There's probably 100 of them, between Rumble and YouTube by now. Invite to a 3-way call with your sponsor or upline mentor. So if you're like, whoever enrolled you is really knowledgeable and you're just in the beginning baby steps, this is what we found, and still do this occasionally. We'll get Robin and Gregory and or Connie and Barry or whoever is more knowledgeable on a certain subject. And if we got somebody that's maybe a heavy hitter that we'd like to get involved and they're interested, but you need to have the goods on a bigger picture and you're beginning. So you want to get somebody in your upline to help you out. So a 3-way call will work great with that. If they don't want more information, would it be okay if I reach out to you in a month, 3 months? Just keep that line, keep it open. Don't just shut them off, because we know that the patches are beneficial to everybody, and you're just trying to help them find success. And if they're not ready for success, some people aren't, or they just don't know, or they've had some bad experience and they think everything that everybody approaches them, although they're the ones that are telling you to go to this restaurant or that movie or try this and try that. They're always doing that, but they don't like selling. Right. So anyway, success tip: success is not magical. It doesn't just happen. It's mathematical. So do the daily action plan. And as you get more comfortable with it, as you become more involved with it, you'll start to get more and more success. So that's the latest and greatest. Like Jen said, that you should have gotten that, and you can tap into that. So let's look at the positive mental attitude. All right. So we go back to Marcus Aurelius in Stoicism. This is one of those things that I've liked for a long time, and seems to work. Has always worked good for me. I've read the book. Marcus Aurelius wrote, and those of you that are in the past lives, I was that person. So it's interesting to see it from this perspective, this news perspective. So here's the interesting thing that he talks about thousands of years ago that you're going to hear from other people that talk about positive mental attitude and thinking positively.
1. Realize the importance of thought. In Stoicism, there's a strong emphasis on distinguishing between what we can and cannot control. This starts with our thoughts. The Stoics believe that while we cannot control external events, we have complete control over our minds. By focusing on our thoughts, we can navigate life's challenges with greater ease and composure. It's like building a mental armor that shields us from unnecessary worries and negative influences. When we understand this, we can start to see our thoughts not just as fleeting moments in our minds, but as powerful tools that shape our reality. Consider the impact of a single negative thought. It can spiral into a cascade of negativity, affecting our mood, our behavior, and even our health.
So a lot of people say that disease and so forth actually does come from your thoughts. And on a certain basis, I believe that is quite true. Now, I often say that you think a negative thought, you have to come at that with like 10 positive thoughts. So negative thoughts are very, very powerful. Emotionally, physically, they really ingrained. We're surrounded by negativity on a daily basis from every aspect of society. So it's very challenging sometimes to stay positive, but once you learn how to stay in that zone, that very smooth, very soft, very positive zone, it becomes easier over time.
On the other hand, a positive thought can inspire us, motivate us, and lead to actions that improve our lives and the lives of those around us. The Stoics were masters of this mental discipline.
So this is one that usually gets a lot of people. You're sharing the patch to help others, right? You use the patch, you've had great results, and you want to share the patch so that others can get results. It's the same thing with your positive thoughts. So with your positive thoughts, you're creating a circuitry in your brain and in your body that starts to attract and send out also this vibratory frequency that's very positive, and you're helping others by being positive. So that's another way to look at it. Another reason not to be a downer and gloomy and come into conversations all gloomy and stuff. Yeah, I like the conversations where we're talking about stuff that's we need to be aware of, but you need to get to the point where it doesn't like hook you and make you all down and moody and mad or whatever. So this is the power of the mental discipline that you learn over time.
They practiced techniques like reflection and journaling to keep their thoughts in check. For example, the evening reflection was a common practice where they would spend time at the end of each day contemplating their thoughts and actions, identifying what went well and what could be improved. This practice allowed them to maintain a clear and focused mind, ready to face the next day with renewed strength. Moreover, the Stoics taught us that thoughts are not just abstract concepts, but tangible forces that can direct the course of our lives.
Exactly. So it's a physical reality that you're creating with your thoughts. So if you want to attract, positivity into your life, you have to have positive thoughts. If you want to have a good business, you have to think what a good business looks like for you and where that's at. You know, how much do you want to make? How much do you want to influence people and help people and so forth? You have to think these thoughts first. They don't just magically, like we're talking about, magically appear, and you're like, oh, I surprise! It's like that came out of nowhere. I was like hoping that would come, and here it is. So you have to have the action. So the action is the thoughts. So the positive thoughts and unbreakable positive mental attitude from Napoleon Hill is now coming up in time. Still, there's still plenty of people out there that have talked about, the positive mental attitude, throughout time, for thousands of years. And, some of them were Buddha, Jesus, and, on and on and on. So lots of people have talked about this over time and have appealed to different people in different ways. Now, Napoleon Hill studied all the most successful people of his time, and he did it for like 20 years. And he started putting together these books, and one of them was about the positive mental attitude.
I want you to listen to me very carefully, because what I'm about to say may challenge everything you believed about your struggles, your failures, and your mental state. There are two kinds of people in this world. Those who go through life defeated, tired, complaining, surviving one day at a time. And those who stand tall in the face of adversity, smile when others break, rise when others quit, and win. The difference: it is not intelligence, it is not luck, it is not education. It is what I call a positive mental attitude. And let me be clear, this is not...
So this is something that I read about as a youth, and then when I went into the SEAL teams and so forth, I always had that positive mental attitude, like he's talking about. The great challenges. The more the challenge, the merrier for me. So, yeah, it was difficult, but I love the challenge, and I always kept a positive mental attitude about that. Being in combat, people trying to kill me, most people were like, "Yep, I'm out," and most people did. And those that did not have a positive mental attitude, when you are in an environment like that, you usually don't survive. And I saw a lot of people that I work with over time that actually were killed in combat because they had negative attitudes. So it does, and we can probably think of a lot of people that have attracted this in different ways, So positive mental attitude is very, very important in your life.
just thinking good thoughts. This is not surface level optimism. This is not plastering a smile on your face when your soul is breaking. No, positive mental attitude is a spiritual power. It is the ability to see through the fog of difficulty and still act with faith, precision, and purpose. It is the only known antidote to failure, and it is the foundation of all lasting success.
Now, you notice he said spiritual power, right? So he's tapping, or he's, guiding you to tap into a higher spiritual power, and develop that and have that part of your life. So that is what, that's why a lot of us have great experiences with the LifeWave patch, because it is from a higher spiritual power. And when we apply that and we have the positive, intention, and we have the positive belief that it's going to do good things for us, it does. And, some people could say, well, it could be you're just having those thoughts. And there is that. Yeah, there is that. There have been lots of people that have, prayed over people that were, not going to be long for this world. I've done that for prayer groups, and those people like completely had a full recovery. They weren't supposed to come back, but the patches have done that as well. So we've heard from people in the Miracle Monday, where people will come in and say they were gone, and we put the patch on them, and they survived, and now they're thriving. So there is, this part of us that we can, that can connect with higher consciousness. Lynn Scott Hagerman has talked about this, how she was guided to come in and start using the patch, and it really changed her outlook on a lot of different things. The different patches she needed to overcome stuff. So all of us have that capability. All of us have the potential of having amazing results, not just with the patch, but also with the business side of this.
Spent over 25 years interviewing the most powerful men of our time, Carnegie, Ford, Edison, Rockefeller. Men who built empires not because life was easy, but because they developed this indestructible mindset. They did not fear failure. They invited it. They did not surrender to setbacks. They studied them. They did not collapse under pressure. They learned to transmute defeat into success. And so can you. But first, let me ask you something. What is controlling your mind today? Is it fear, doubt, self-pity, resentment? Or is it faith, purpose, gratitude, desire? Because the mind does not remain neutral. It is always under the influence of something. If you do not direct it, the world will.
So if you do not direct it, the world will. And we know that most people are like that, unfortunately. So you're going to try and get people involved with something that's extremely powerful, that have very low self-esteem. They have not a lot going on for them. And you know that this can have a very positive, impact on people. But you have to take into account, you have to make sure you're doing it with people that you look at, having business with in the future. Or are you, doing it for, you just don't care. You're just doing it on a monetary scale. I think you're probably not going to very, very far in any kind of line of business if that's what your intention is. Of course, there are some people out there that do have that kind of success, and it's they're probably tapping into another source and not the good source of spirituality. So that's one of the things you need to keep in mind. Some people just don't have the wherewithal within their consciousness to actually get excited or even use these patches. So don't get all worked up if you present it to somebody that could help them and they're completely negative and maybe blow up on you. So you have to get a little bit of a thick skin sometimes.
So let me give you 5 steps to really utilizing the power of positive thinking, even though I said this is about negative thinking. And then let me show you how to use negative thinking in an assignment, how to make negative thinking something that's useful for you. So step number 1, decide to develop the habit right now, the habit of focusing on what's right in your world instead of what's wrong. The habit of focusing on what you do have instead of what you don't have in a situation. And as basic as that is, and as well as you know it, you've got to make it a habit, because those habits form the chain of your ultimate character, of who you become and how you end up living your life. We've got to condition ourselves, because if we don't, we'll go back to the automatic state that most people live in today's society. The way to develop the habit is to go on a mental diet. I did this several years ago. As positive as I was going through unbelievable pain at the time. I'd had some major disappointments, some frustrations. I felt like I'd given it all. But what turned me around is one day I picked up this book called The 7-Day Mental Diet. It was a little tiny little booklet. And all the booklet really did was, for about 12 of the 14 pages, it challenged me to really see if I could really truly, for 7 days, live my life without one negative thought. And it kept saying throughout the book, now don't just say, yeah, I can do it, and don't just say I'm going to do it. Think for a while before you commit to this. Don't actually commit unless you're really going to do it for 7 straight days, no matter what. It doesn't.
Now, most people, I've been to Tony Robbins' events. I was in his platinum group, which is like his top 1%ers. I've read almost all of his books, listened to all of his information. Very, very powerful motivational speaker. As you can see there, he's challenging. So he's challenging. All you need is just like 7 days of not being negative, and probably everybody's like, that's too simple. I would challenge you to go an hour without negative thoughts, and you'll find out how challenging that is. So 7 days. Now for me, I've taken these challenges before. And again, whenever I had a negative thought, I did 10 times a positive thought to overcome that, and eventually get to the point where you don't have negative thoughts, or at least not as many, because you're taking a lot of time, thinking 10 positive thoughts, and you're like, oh, my day is like, just nothing but thinking positive thoughts. But that's a good thing. So eventually you get to think your own thoughts. and you think the positive ones, the things that you want to manifest, and you see them in a positive light, right? So, any questions on those positive thinking, positive mental attitude? I can tell you that there is no one that made it through SEAL training that did not have positive mental attitude, right? Lynn.
So I didn't have questions, but I had some thoughts. I remember several trainings ago, you taught us that for every negative thought, we needed to have 10 positives to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that to heart and I started the next day. That was not easy because I shocked myself at how many times a negative thought would pop into my head. But I credit myself for recognizing it. But then I started saying 10 positives. And by the time I got halfway and close to 10, it was like this horrible blanket weight just lifted off of me and I'd have peace. And so then I thought, oh, this feels really good. You know what I mean? It's not just a good thing to do, but it really feels good. And so I kept focusing and practicing on that. And I still practice it to this day. And I think I'll be practicing for a while. I'm not you sound like a master to me over this. And I know one day I'll be there too. But the more you practice, the better it gets. And it lifts the weight off of life that can come that we don't need to be under.
Yeah, that's good. And on another note of that, you say you're a master of this. I'm really good at it, but I wouldn't call myself a master. I still have negative thoughts. Ask Tracy, she'll tell you. So, but noticing them is I think very important. And I notice when I do have a negative thought and I try and replace it with doing positive or thinking positive and so forth. It is very valuable, regardless of what you're doing. And you guys know that I'm the guy that sends a love vibration, and I send it to people that aren't so positive. And it seems to have a very good effect on them. So that right there should tell you, from my experiences, I talk about all this in my work, how, I focus on this person, they're not here anymore. And I focus on that person. You're like, oh, Mike, please don't focus on me. Now, if I focus on any one of you, you're going to power up. And if you've ever been to any event where I do the muscle testing, and I can talk you through it right now. So the muscle testing, if you put your arms out and I come up and I push down on your arms, you're going to have a certain ability, to resist. Right. So some people are strong, some people not as much, but you still have an ability to resist. So then I have people, and I'll just do it real simply right here. I go through a pretty long process where I'm like waving my arms up and down people and moving their energy around so they're weak. And then I do it with just my mind, and people are like, what? It's like, yeah, I can just think it. And so let's do the crowd. So imagine the crowd, sending you negative energy, sending you hate or fear or whatever. And it has an effect on people. And I can muscle test them and they'll be weak. And then I'll be like, okay, everybody send your negativity. And in my mind, I'm bubbling them with love. In my mind, I'm just telling them just to be normal. Don't think, don't just be. And then they're strong, even though we just went through the muscle testing where they're like, boom, arms go right down. Whereas before they could resist and hold their arms up. So then I have them put their arms up and they're like even stronger than they are without the love energy. Then, of course, you can do this with your friends. You can hold the thought. You can have them muscle test you, and then you can hold the thought of love, and you'll be stronger. And then you can hold the thought of anger or fear, any kind of negativity, and have them muscle test you. You will be very weak. Your arms will like slap down onto your sides. And when people see that, they get, well, there's a physical response for me holding anger. There's a physical response. I'm weaker. I'm not as strong, being fearful, being angry and so forth. And then when I hold that love vibration, I'm even stronger. So these are the things, and I've done this for years in front of hundreds and hundreds of people. At this point, probably 100,000 people I've done this to. And once I've done that, it's like, okay, so let's send good thoughts to loving thoughts to, and then everybody in the crowd's like, I'm not going to do that. Like, so it's hard to overcome this. And just like Len was describing, those negative thoughts want to keep coming back. You think about somebody that's not so good, and you get a negative thought. You get a negative thought about that person, and what does it do to your body? It makes you weaker. All right. And it doesn't make you as effective as a human being in every aspect of your life. Right. So these are the very important things that you need to remember and reflect on. You're not going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. But as you go through your day, start to dwell on this. Where are your thoughts? Are your thoughts mostly positive or not? Right. So you'll probably going to find out. Right. Maybe not so much. And unless you've been working on this for years, I've been working on this most of my life, and I'm still not perfect, right? No one, I don't think we're human beings. We're never going to be perfect, but we can get pretty close, right? And I've been, I think, pretty close on a lot of occasions in helping people. And if you do it for the intention, which I've found for helping humanity. And I think one of the reasons I'm still alive and still here is because I had the intention of helping humanity. And I was put back here to like, okay, go do your thing. Let's see what you got. Right. So here we are. And now I have like, thousands of, amazing people that are using LifeWave, which I think is one of the greatest products out there. Jen.
Okay. I did take off the audio. So a million thoughts. I love the way you started this today because I was a philosophy major in college. That's the only thing I could pass. I just loved philosophy. So, that's my undergrad. But, and I was really, I'm going to use this. I'm going to recommend this tape tonight to others. But I've had a lot of thoughts as we've been talking, and I've been printing. I was reading David Meltzer's book, and he says, cancel, 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 when he has a negative thought. And I was taught by a friend of mine who taught me Ho'oponopono, Hawaiian stuff. She lived there for many years with the kahunas. She said, Jennifer, cut, erase, transmute. And I know I've passed that on to people in our troop here, but it's like you cut the picture out, if it's a reel to reel, and then you erase it, Scotch tape it together. This is what I taught my kids. Scotch tape it together, let the reel roll again, because you've taken out the negative.
Yeah.
So I brought my children up on that. And what I want to say is they scream at me now if I'm negative. And of course it comes out of us. I mean, it does. Well, I'm worried about this ship that we're going to go on. It's going to make us sick in the water in February, right? And their mom, don't jinx it. Cut, erase, transmute. So the kids have gotten it into their system. And I hope all of you can use cancel, 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 cut, erase, transmute. It works. And if I'm driving and and I feel like, ooh, what if somebody hits me from behind, which can, happen. It's happened to me. I immediately go cut, erase, transmute so that I get that thought out of my mind so I don't attract that accident to me. And that's what I think a lot of us do many times is we attract because we have fear. And I'll be quiet, except one thing I'm going to put in there too is something I just passed on to a friend in this group. I wrote a prayer after 9/11. I wrote it because of the horrible thing that happened, and I wrote it on the day after 9/11. And I'm going to share it with you because it's helped me to live in the house of love rather than the house of fear. And I was taught that in seminary, and I just want to pass it on to you guys. And that's it, Michael. I just love this show. Just so inspired.
Yeah, I thought you would like this.
You
like
piqued my interest.
You've read 1,000 books on positive.
You piqued me.
I
Okay.
used to have bookstores full of them. So good job. Roxanne.
So I just want to say, Michael, you did that muscle testing on me a few years ago here in Sarasota. There was a Patriot group that you and Tracy Joe came to. And I raised my hand, and some other guy raised his hand, and we held it for a while. And I was even putting up protection, and I'm like, dang it, he got me. I think you said, think of your ex-husband or something. So I did. And my arms flopped to the side. But
Yep.
so, anyways, I that was fun and interesting for me. And so I just wanted to say, I remember, you got me.
Very good. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So yeah, internalizing that and seeing it for yourself, seeing other people how it how they respond to it. It's real. So I've talked about this stuff for years, talked about it in my books, but and I was around some of the most positive people in CIA and SEAL teams and so forth, and I used to be into this stuff, and they did not want to hear this. They did not want to hear this, but I shared it anyway. So it was a lot of people don't want to hear it. It's like it's mind numbing to me how that's possible. It's like this is the way, the way, and you don't want to know it. Okay, you could, and some people like I've got it. I got what I'm good. I'm a Navy SEAL, or I'm a doctor, or I'm a whatever. And I'm good. I'm amazing. So the ego doesn't work so good, as we know, but you have to overcome that as well. It doesn't mean that you completely let go of your ego. You just learn how to not let your ego control you and control your environment. So the positive mental attitude helps to overcome that egoic. I'm God's gift, and I have to admit that at one time I was like that. I made it through SEAL training. I'm like, I'm it, and I remember the senior guys were like, yeah, you walk around like you're something. And I was like, what? What do you mean? It's like, and so they saw right through me, and they had their ways to humble me, and it worked very well. So eventually, over time, I started to become humble because I started to see if I looked at other people and other events, and I would be like, ha ha, they got in trouble, or they messed up, or they did this, or that, ha ha. It would happen to me almost within a very short period of time because I focused on it, I laughed about it, emotionalized it, and now it's part of me. So this is another thing you have to understand. You don't jinx yourself by like Jen was talking about. You don't jinx yourself by focus. Something pops in your mind, and then it just starts to dwell there, and it becomes an attractive factor, right? And a lot of people are like, I don't know why I keep getting men that beat me. I'm like, really? So it's very obvious to all of us, but we try and help them out. But that's just kind of the thing. I don't know why I can never be successful. I don't know why I never have money. I don't know why, blah, blah, blah. And it's because they focus on the negative aspect of that and attract it. All right. Barbara.
First of all, I'm glad that you brought up kinesiology tonight because that was my favorite thing in school.
Uh-huh.
I tested everybody. Um, in your training, did they teach you to do the upside down palm on the head first?
No, never.
I
I've never even seen that.
I love this because the professor was describing how we have to be connected to the God source. And we teach this in our patches. We have our crown, not the crown chakra in your feet, but the energy enhancer patches. Remember how they work? How the energy goes in, goes down the feet, comes up, comes back down. That's because we are connected to Mother Earth. And as that energy comes up, it goes around us, goes up to our crown chakra, and goes back in our head. Correct? That's why we're shaped like the cup, Jesus' cup. Everybody wonders where Jesus' cup is. They can never find it. It's because we individuals are the cup, and that God's energy comes in, goes in our crown chakra, goes in our body, and it constantly flows until we stop the flow. So when I was taught to test anyone, I would put my hand upside down like this. And then I would muscle test them however you're taught, the arm, the fingers, or whatever. And if they were weak, I mean, they should be weak because I just disconnected the energy flow.
Right.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
And then I would immediately turn my hand over like this and do the same tests again, and they would be strong as an ox.
Mm.
And they say, oh, we're connected to God like that, So kinesiology works. If you've been taught to do it correctly, and I'd love to be around you more than I've been able to, because I would have gotten into that with you.
Oh
before
yeah,
you knew.
I got a lot of stuff on kinesiology.
Oh,
When I did
I
the
love
hand-to-hand
it.
course, I taught it.
And when I was seeing patients, I used to muscle test the patients for different things. I do not do that with LifeWave. Not going there. I'm never going to do that because I'm not treating anybody.
Yeah. Very
But
good.
I do my family, my friends, things like that. But energy is, people just need to sometimes understand energy flow in the body better than they do. Once they get it, it's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
what can I do to fix this? Disconnect. Well, talking about negative energy and negative thoughts, guess what you're doing? You're cutting off the flow.
Yep. Cutting it off. And yeah, so in the hand-to-hand course I used to teach, I would show people the golden mean and how it works in the body,
Yeah.
and then how understanding that, I can take your pinky and start to manipulate your little pinky and I'll do it to that joint, that joint, that joint, and then I got your spine, and then put you on the ground. So with your pinky. So once you start to understand the kinesiology, like you're talking about, on a very deep level, you understand that our thoughts and our actions and so forth also will make a difference.
They will cut it off because
They'll
when you
cut it
do
off.
this or whatever, and I have them say their name, and you can be, and I say your name is, if it was me, instead of saying my name is Barbara, I would say my name is Brenda. I'd lost all my energy. Your arms just fall down. But then if you go right back and say, my name is Barbara, I'm strong. And people will say, well, how does that work? I said, because God doesn't work with negativity. If you want God's energy flowing through your body, you better be positive and not negative, because he can't help you.
Yeah.
That's the way we were taught. And he can't help us until we make that connection again.
Very
So
good.
anyway, I love it. I'm glad you talked about it tonight because I think that's so important.
Well, that's good. We got some experts in the house, so we love when you guys talk.
I'd like to have a kinesiology party.
Hey, that would be fun, actually.
I love them.
Fun. Yeah, we could do
I
a
love
lot
them.
with that.
I've had people bring a bag this big of supplements in. I mean, it's like,
Oh, so you can test them. Like, nope.
woo, unbelievable.
They're all dumb. They're all no good. And yeah, so the muscle the words. So again, using the word love, just the word itself. If you've ever watched the movie, what was it, The Secret, and where they
Secret.
yeah, where they had the one guy that was like the water guy, what was his name, the Japanese water guy.
Oh, Doctor, I met him.
Emoto.
Yeah,
Dr.
I
Emoto. So
met him
Emoto
years
was
ago.
like, water holds, and we're, of course, mostly water, 70%.
Praying over the water.
Yeah. So praying over the water, praying over your patch, and so forth, you're activating your cellular structure within the water. And they show that if you did negative thoughts and you sent negative thoughts to water, and you'd had rose or something, or in the water or whatever it was, they would freeze the water. And if you had negative thoughts, it would come up, the crystalline structure was like just horrific. And if you did positive thoughts, the crystalline structure was beautiful. And beautiful music and crazy music would have bad crystalline structure. So that's what we're doing to our bodies when you're holding negative thoughts. And you're infusing the water within your body with this negativity, and it's activating all throughout your body and your cells and everything. So another great reason to, have the positive thoughts. Sally.
Hi, everybody. And Michael, what a great lot of discussion this morning. It's right up my alley. Some years ago, a friend of mine called me the seminar queen because I used to go off to all these, healing and self-development people, including Tony Robbins. And I remember Tony yelling in my ear, you're ready, before I walked out onto those coals. And very soon after that, I met Nick, which was a marvelous thing back then because I'd had some trouble finding the right guy. and we're very happy 20 years later.
Nice.
But how the body stores emotions in it and causes energy blocks. Yes, Barbara, I'd love to come to your party. Many years ago, one of the technique seminars I went off to as a chiropractor was called neuro-emotional technique. And I had a young lad, a friend's son came to see me. He was in his teens and he was a very, very good tennis player, and he was having trouble with his ankle. And he'd sort of been everywhere to the important orthopedic people. Anyway, I was new to this neuro-emotional technique with muscle testing and stuff, and I used it to clear an emotional block in his ankle. And he did get better. And in fact, he went on just quietly, without really telling me, to become a chiropractor. So you never know where these ripples go, do you?
No.
And it's so important for us to do our own work. And I've been working on me, and my goodness, there's still so much more to do for many, many years. And LifeWave is marvelous, and what a great team. I'm so grateful to have found my way into this team. So thank you. And yes, all this stuff is right on point.
Yeah, and thank you, Sally. You can tell that you have very nice consciousness, and that's interesting about the neuro and emotional side, because we see people that have very low emotional IQ, very high intelligence IQ, and it doesn't work out well for them. So, what are your thoughts on the emotional aspect? How to increase that? Because a lot of people don't even have a clue that the emotion can override all of your analytical processes and just shut them down and make them obsolete, and you will have the worst life ever. You could be the smartest person. We've seen a lot of smart people that are not very happy and don't have very good lives overall. What are your thoughts on like you're talking about, the neural emotional connection?
Well, it's huge, Michael. And yes, some people are so not open to it. I've always felt like being too far ahead of my time when I was in practice, and that book, Emotional Intelligence, came out with, I forget the author, was it Goldman or someone? And I started having it in my practice, and I would show it to people. And one man I showed it to, he got so angry with me because, I sort of course, he had a bit of an anger problem. But
Low EQ, yes.
it's so important. And this whole, I would say to anyone listening to, there are many avenues, but one brilliant set of work is the neuro-emotional technique, which I did some certification in many years ago. I don't use it now. Kind of moved on to other things. But if you find a chiropractor who is certified in that, it can really specifically help you with clearing all sorts of emotional blocks, and they can block any aspect of your life. And they don't even have to be major dramas. It can be so subtle. Like just referring, I remember specifically this lovely young lad, and I remember that the emotional thing sort of stuck in his ankle was his concern about his mother's concerns about moving. They were moving countries to Australia from New Zealand, and she had concerns about, leaving the grandparents, and it was that sort of concern. So it wasn't like any major trauma or anything. And these things, we can be very, very good at kind of stuffing them into our bodies somehow, and they can get, it's like filing in your computer, and how things clog up, like your desktop will fill up with stuff that you think, oh, I'll save it there so I can see it. And in the end, if anything like me, my desktop gets completely embarrassingly covered with stuff. And then you'll have to clear that out to make room for the new things. So yeah, I could go on.
Yeah, I love it. That's fascinating, how emotional problems will get stuck in your body and cause injury, damage, and so forth, and how that can be unstuck by someone's trained chiropractor, like you were talking about. That's absolutely incredible. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
Chris.
Hello, Michael. Can I ask you a question about the Emoto crystalline structure that you were just talking about?
Yeah.
I was part of the IWC, but I know you canceled that after a while. Do those passwords and stuff to get into that still work, or is that a canceled program?
Yeah, that's all canceled.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just curious. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, guys. I got another show coming up. Gonna be talking about some interesting stuff that should help free people from emotional blocks. So I hope. Talking about people that were involved with the CIA. So there's a lot of emotional blocks for a lot of us in that. So, all right, guys. Lots of love. Stay in the love vibration, and I will see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. That
Bye,
was a great
Princess.
show.
That
Thank
was
you.
wonderful.
Go buy a tiara and everybody will be happy.
Like a princess. Wave.
Go, you princesses. All
Good
right.
night,
Somebody-
everybody.
Whoever
Good
said
night,
hi to
everybody.
me, hi.
I had snow today, guys. I had snow in Washington.
Oh, we just had snow here. We just
Yeah,
had
you
snow
did.
here. It wasn't
I think
even.
we had snow everywhere.
Oh, not
Jan, you look pretty in pink.
Oh,
I was going to say that too, Jan. You look so
I got sweaters
Pretty in
under
pink.
sweaters, and I've got
No matter. You look
I
good in
even have
pink.
I have a coat to warm